All right. This fall saw the release of a new edition of one of the most popular yet polarizing video game franchises ever. Grand Theft Auto, as you likely know, is the highly successful series that encourages gamers to act badly in the name of fantasy. They rob banks, they run over pedestrians, they even kill police officers. The game has drawn outrage, but it's also clearly tapped into something with the broad public. Upon its release, Grand Theft Auto 5 made $1 billion in just 3 days. One of the three co-stars of GTA 5 is my next guest. He's actor Stephen Ogg. The Calgary-born performer plays a gleefully violent meth dealer named Trevor Phillips, a character he's called the id of Grand Theft Auto 5. And Stephen Ogg joins me now in Studio Q. Hello.
Hello, John.
Pleasure to have you here.
It is an honor to be here. This show has been amazing to always listen to. It's my 10 a.m. wake up. Not that I'm waking up at 10 a.m., but I listen to your monologues. Huge fan. Truly an honor to be here.
Very kind.
Some people want to do the Letterman, the Leno, all of that.
Nice.
I'm like, if I can get on CBCQ.
And you live in New York, right?
I do live in New York,
right.
yeah.
Grand Theft Auto, thank you for that. Grand Theft Auto 5 is the most financially successful video game of all time. Tens of millions of people have played it. Did you go into this project thinking of it as a significant acting role?
Yes. Yeah. Like Kevin Smith, when we were passing each other there, talked about when he mentioned the artist doing something to satisfy themselves. That's why they do it. That's why I did it. It was when I read the script, when I looked at this character, for me, it was an acting gig. I didn't think of GTA. I didn't really know about video games. I still don't.
Do you get paid well to do this kind of thing?
Yeah.
A video game?
Yeah. I mean, it's
like doing a movie?
It's different scale than doing a movie, but certainly it's good pay. It's you're not getting necessarily a piece of the pie, but you don't do it for that reason. I didn't go into it with like, okay, what's the payment on this? I won't even read the script unless I see what money I'm getting.
Right.
No, it's more like, okay, wow, look at this character. This would be a challenge.
Stephen, most voice actors, even in Disney blockbusters, aren't exposed to the viewing public in such a major way. This character is based on you, looks like you. We see you as well as hear your voice. Has it opened doors, career-wise?
Well, the film I wrapped yesterday, which I'm in sort of the summer camp is over blues today because it was such an amazing experience with Henry Rollins. He never died, and we just finished shooting that yesterday.
Here, you were shooting that in Toronto.
Yeah. And that was, I would say, the first direct result of. I don't think I would have got that had I not been with GTA, because the director, Jason Kochek, saw that I was Trevor, and he's, like many directors are in their 20s, so they're gamers. And they're, if nothing else, they're like, I just want to work with this guy.
Wow.
Even if he's a terrible actor, this is Trevor. So that was the first sort of direct thing. But, even talking there with Kevin about it's the voice acting thing. I mean, it was a motion capture performance. The entire thing was motion captured. So the voice work was really only done near the end when we got into a studio and did right into a mic for some of the car scenes where we're just talking.
I was wondering how this works because it's sort of very realistic animation that we see in Grand Theft Auto 5. So what does motion capture mean?
Motion capture is you're basically in almost a spandex suit that you wear, which is for some flattering and for others not so flattering because there's nothing really to hide. And you're covered in these reflective balls, essentially, all over. These little tiny, like marbles, all over you. On your head, you have a helmet, and you've got these bars with a bright light and a camera right on you. So that's right in your face. So even when you're talking, like if we were doing this scene motion capture, we would be suited up, we would be in seats, we'd have a table, we'd have a mic, and we'd be talking to each other through these sort of, bars and cameras. And then we've got our fingers, we've got our toes. And what you can see up on the screen is your actual, I used to call it my avatar. They didn't like when I said my avatar, but I was like, that's my avatar. You can see everything.
Why didn't they like it?
I don't know. I have no idea. I never asked. I just, whatever.
So it is 100% acting. Every
100%
bone of
acting.
your body, right?
Oh, yeah.
For those who haven't played Grand Theft Auto 5, and this is a really interesting character that you play. Not a particularly sweet one. Yeah. Can you describe Trevor for people? How would you describe him?
Troubled. He's troubled. I mean, he's. I tried to do things like the loyalty. I mean, he does have a loyalty. He does have a sense of humor. However dark and sick and twisted it is, there is humor in him. I mean, which is, when people say, "Oh, I found myself laughing and a little uncomfortable laughing," I'm like, okay, great. I did my job as far as I'm concerned. Didn't want to make him this one-note psychopath. But he's, he needs that rush. He needs the rush of the be it the drugs or the crime or whatever that fuels him. But he's also incredibly loyal to those around him. If you cross him, he'll.
Let me give people an example of Trevor Phillips. This is here's an early scene in Grand Theft Auto 5 where Trevor confronts a local biker gang.
Hey, you seen Ashley? Johnny's looking for her.
Well, as a matter of fact, I just did, just 10 minutes ago. Yeah, I saw her on the end of this here.
Johnny ain't gonna be cool if you messing with her again.
Oh, really? Well, you don't think so, huh? Well, why don't we just ask him then, huh? Hey, cowboy, you mind that I f***ed your old lady? Sorry, what was that? Well, no, you don't mind? Oh, because you're a dead man? And the only sentient part you left is this little bit of brain and the gristle on the end of my boot? Well, thank you very much, cowboy.
Bullshit!
Oh, I like it, denial. That is first part of the grieving process, brothers. Now let's all hold hands, huh?
There you go.
I love how he says sentient part. When I got that, I was like, I don't even know what that means. So this guy's a meth head and he's saying sentient. That's what sort of cracks me up.
That's a scene from the video game Grand Theft Auto 5 featuring actor Stephen Ogg, who's talking to me here, as Trevor Phillips. So Stephen, it's interesting because the character is so extreme. He's almost a parody of a bad guy, and yet he feels real. How do you make him real?
That was the big challenge. How do you make this guy who's larger than life real? And it was just really about finding the connection with another person. I mean, I find the sense of humor with this guy, find his relationship to other people. And if you're doing your job as an actor and you're communicating those words and you're really talking to the other person, the humanity is going to come through, regardless of the situation, be it ridiculous or not.
It feels like we live in an era of amoral bad guys in films and TV, to choose from as influences if you were looking for one. Did you have inspirations from your own viewing, or were you out to make Trevor your own?
The biggest, because I'm not a fan of copycatting by any means, but certainly one performance that I recognized that was an influence in there a lot. But I had some strange influences that came into the actual performance of Trevor. But Tom Hardy in the movie Bronson, the movie itself, that sort of glorified, I felt, this terrible man, Bronson. I loved the film, but it was somewhat of a glorification. But that performance that Tom Hardy gave had that larger-than-life theatricality to it, but there still was this humanity and sense of humor, even though I didn't like the guy. So what Tom Hardy did with Bronson, I certainly looked to that, but then I also looked at a film like Bullhead, where he has this intensity. So certain roles like that, I certainly looked at and watched.
Well, one of the things your character Trevor does in this game, I guess the most controversial aspect of the game is torture someone very, very brutally. Describe what you had to do in that scene.
That one was just purely, all I really remember was the technical shooting of that. I mean, the only difference with all these mediums, TV, film, theater, video games now, is the technical aspect. So to film that, I just had to be aware of, we had different sort of instruments, and the actor sitting in the chair, you can't, for lack of a better word, touch balls or cross balls because then the animators can't animate it. So you have to be very aware of where you're interacting with the person. So in that particular scene, and then you have dialogue. So I'm just thinking about, okay, how can I get it in there without crossing so that the animators can do their job? So I'm sort of thinking of the whole team and the technical
You're not
aspect
necessarily
of it.
thinking you tear a guy's teeth out with pliers, you waterboard him, you break his kneecaps.
I'm not thinking like, oh, what are the social ramifications of
So
this?
you don't
Is
have a
this-
discomfort in acting that.
No, that was just doing it.
This raises the question. Simon Parkin, writing in the New Yorker, discussed his own discomfort merely playing the game, right, as a gamer. And he wrote that video games might actually have a greater moral responsibility than cinema because, as he put it, when we watch a violent scene in a film or read a description of violence in a novel, no matter how graphic it is, we are merely spectators. In video games, we are active, if virtual participants. What do you make of that? Do you think video games should be judged with a higher moral bar than other art forms?
No, because I think, the torture scene is no better or worse than what you see, even like what Breaking Bad does. I mean, there's even on television now, forget the cinema, what we see on TV is getting more and more graphic and more violent. And I understand his point regarding that because you're the first
interaction.
player, the
Yeah.
interaction might heighten it, but
And
I
is a
don't
kid
know.
playing that going to have the context or the moral nuances,
I think if the kid has good parenting, I mean, I'm kind of old school with the idea of if you have parents that communicate. Now, we get it, okay, what if you don't have the parenting, you don't, but it's not the video game's fault. It's just like video games don't cause violence any more than the heavy metal music causes violence. I think that whole argument is like those are people that sit back and probably don't do anything about it. You got to participate. I mean, if you have a child playing these games, talk to your child. Why do you like watching this? What's exciting about this? And it's that is the problem. I think the human communication needs to strengthen and quit worrying about.
Is it
easy
true, though,
stuff.
that you turned down an opportunity to act in another video game a few years ago? And
It was.
and so what changed?
I think it was when I first came to New York, and I was, the theater, and I was going to tread the boards and to be taken seriously. I was not going to do commercials, or it was a bit of that more than I'm against the violence or anything like that. But it was sort of like, yeah, I don't know if I want to contribute to the violence, but as I have an 8-year-old son now, and not that changed me. I was never like, as soon as I had a child, go, oh my God, the sky is blue.
Right.
I'm not that guy. I saw the sky is blue before. But you realize it's the parenting. It's not what's out there. If you're not interacting with your child, then they're going to be affected by things more,
You mentioned this horror, before I let you go, you mentioned this horror film you've just made with Henry Rollins. You play a bad guy here too, right?
Yeah. A different bad guy.
You're down
though.
with that. Is it a challenge to keep finding the specifics of a new bad guy?
I love the bad guys.
So tell us
'Cause
very
you have
quickly about this film.
He never died. It's Henry Rollins, who is just like, wow. We wrapped yesterday, and it was such a love fest. It was incredible. The cast, the crew, everyone was so wonderful, and he is such. Has he been on the show?
Yeah, a few times. Yeah.
He's amazing. Just an amazing guy. And of course, a lot of us had our Henry Rollins in our head. Like I saw him, Black Flag, when he was, just doing his thing. And he's so not that, right? He's such a smart, wonderful man. And the movie is about Jack. Henry Rollins plays Jack, who's a man that can't die. He just can't die. So what do you do when you're sort of down on your luck and you're tired of living, literally, but you can't die? So it's this story that there's no specific genre. It's not really a horror. It's a very cerebral. It has sort of these Dostoevskian, crime and punishment sort of.
What's it called?
It's called He Never Died.
Oh, he never died. Okay.
Yeah. So it's really exciting, and I can't wait to see it because I thought it was a lot of fun.
Hey man, congratulations on the success you're having with that and with GTA 5.
Thank you. I also noticed that we sort of share a similar.
We're dressed the same.
Dressed the same. I should have worn a gray blazer for goodness sake.
That's a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for being
Thank you, John. It was an honor.
Stephen Ogg, Canadian actor. His most recent role is the voice and the motion of Trevor Phillips for the massive video game Grand Theft Auto 5. Stephen Ogg has been with me here in Studio Q. Watch for that film, He Never Died, with Henry Rollins as well. This is Full Time for Q for today. Tomorrow,